Happy Wednesday, everyone. Put your, you're gonna hear your docket call. Once your docket is called, a brief, a synopsis of your case will be read. And you will be asked to introduce yourself and your relationship to the property. Please keep your devices on mute until your docket is called. Mr. Chairman, we can go ahead and proceed with the preamble.
In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1796, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conduct their meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record before the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature. Uh-oh, lost it.
There we go. Did it show back up for you, Mr. Gallagher?
Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Are you with us? Carmela?
We're still here.
Okay, yeah, something, everything went blank. All right, so we're gonna use the raise hand feature on the desktop and mobile versions activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. You will also use the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located at the bottom of the WebEx screen. All meeting activity is being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. The proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Mr. Jacobson.
Mr. Chairman, this is Dan Jacobson from the Law Department. Just preliminary issues, the live stream. Can we verify that the live stream is on and functioning?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, as the Law Department has done since these public meetings have gone virtual and or hybrid, law states its objection to the use of the chat function. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Ms. Davis.
Mr. Bradley,
Here.
Mr. Maschke,
Here.
Mr. Dink,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Oh, so we are going to.
Okay, we got it on screen now. So we're going to go to the adjudication order docket A 199-24, 10912 Lima Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order to be permit 240 13673. RCO 106.1.3. Issued on October 2nd of 2024. Received by us by October 29th of 2024, requesting for a variance to the code. Will the applicant or his or her representative or attorney please state your name for the record?
Cynthia Tell.
You can come to the table or you can stand at the podium. You can look that way if you want to see. Present for today's hearing, Tom Vandover, Chief Billing Official, Dan Jacobson, Law. And we also have personnel from the Division of Fire.
Okay, so we have everybody in place. So we got Ms. Tell and Fire, who's ever representing Fire, and for the city, Mr. Vanover. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
And we got an affirmation from everybody else.
Ms. Tell,
Okay,
he didn't hear you say I do.
Oh, I do.
okay.
Check
Mr.
with fires. Also, I do.
Okay. All right, Ms. Tell, go ahead and let us know what the plans are here.
Okay, I am currently a type B, which is the smallest home daycare provider. I'm seeking to get the larger type A license, which allows me to go from serving 6 children per shift to 12 children per shift. I need this is part of the process to obtain the type A license. And so I'm here to obtain the type A license and what has to be done to get the license completed. So what I've done is the property that I owned, I completely renovated the property and I built out an actual childcare within the home on the lower level. I did put in the egress window, which I used the specs given to me by my state worker for my childcare license. The state came out, they inspected everything and they passed everything. However, I think the issue that I came across here was the issue of the children sleeping and where they would be sleeping. So the only sleeping that could possibly be done is for nap time, which I have to be present. We can never leave the children alone. And in order for me to be able to hire an assistant teacher, I would need the actual type A license to one, not only be able to provide pay for that extra teacher, but the type A license does require that I have another employee on staff. So the children are never left alone. Even when they're napping, that's our time to straighten up, clean up, and do all the things, while they are napping. The nap time is 2 hours. And so I feel I have completed and created a very safe space for the children and myself. And For I'm not looking to kind of fill up the space. It's just that right now, my license capacity only allows me for 6 children. And I'm not looking to go to the whole 12 on my own. But in order for me to move forward with an employee and better pay, the type A license is definitely needed. There's kind of no way around it for that. But I can assure that, I don't cut any corners with any of the work that I do. So, I can assure that myself and every child that comes in is safe. We have, which I have, we have to do drills and things like that, and we have to report those drills and document those drills to make sure that if something happens, that myself, my staff, and the children, knows how to get out safely and to maneuver safely to ensure everybody's safety.
All right, are you saying that if you go to 12, that you will need another assistant?
Yes, the type A license, I have to have another employee
Okay,
on my staff with a type A license.
okay. And the hours that you're operating, what are your hours?
Right now, I'm 24 hours. And the reason that is because I only have a type B license, which is 6 kids per shift. So in order to make income to cover everything, I actually need that type A license, because not only will my pay go up just for having the license, even if I didn't get one more child, my pay will still go up with the current children I have. But it allows me to have more than 6, so I can condense it more. If I had the type A license with 12 kids, I can just have one shift versus having to spread myself out all over the whole day and work 24 hours a day to make enough pay. And that's just for me. So to bring on an employee with that license, I would definitely need the type A license in order to be able to afford to not only pay them, but to continue to run an efficient childcare.
Yeah, I'm gonna, asking a question here about being on 24 hours, there's got to be some sleeping time more than the 2 hours that you had mentioned for who's gonna be there. I mean, is that correct?
Correct. Well, it's per shift. So a nap time is 2 hours per shift. However, right now with overnight, I don't have anybody on there at this time for overnight because of the current situation. Because of course for overnight they would be sleep through the night. So that's more than 2 hours. So right now, until this is resolved, I don't have any for the third shift. So right now it's just the first and the second.
Okay,
However, my hours are 24 hours because that's how I have to have it in my paperwork for the state. They need to know when you're available.
okay. All right, let's go over to the city. Mr. Vanover, how are you gonna set this up?
So, Mr. Chairman, this is, looking at the adjudication order, it appears that there's 2 items that need to be resolved. Item A, which is the windows on the second floor are not compliant for the use. The code requires 5 square feet for the first floor and 5.7 square feet for the second floor in order to approve this use. And according to the adjudication and the plans, those windows do not meet that requirement. And the item E, which is that the plans don't include the cross-section and the details for this egress window. This is a non-compliant egress window. Just looking at the pictures, so the plans don't show the detail. The window may be the proper size, but the window well on the exterior, as you can see there, that's not clear egress. That's not an egress well as required by the code. And then we need the details of the ladder and the height of the sill from the floor. The code requires that sill be the numbers in here, 42 inches from the floor. So it's a matter of the windows on the second floor being non-compliant and the non-compliant egress window from the basement.
Okay, is that the only issue or is there more?
There's other things in the adjudication order that show the existing heat registers throughout. And then provide a plan showing the width and depth of the lot and parking spaces. And then provide smoke detectors in every bedroom. The concern is when you go to a type A daycare, it's more children, it's a higher use, and these forms of egress need to be identified. So we would object to a variance to to letter E on the adjudication order to provide a detailed cross-sectional plan. Because we can't even properly review it without the details, but based on the photographs presented, this is not an egress window. This is not a proper egress. The expectation is that with minor assistance that the staff and the children can exit. And this is, as you can see from what's before us, that's not possible. So I would object to any variance to E because we need the plans and they need to be reviewed. And that must be compliant. The smoke detectors, we obviously object to a variance from that. The site plan is just a matter of providing where the required parking is going to be. And showing the existing heat registers, again, that's the plan. The code requires that these things be on the plans and they're not.
Okay, now she did mention that the state had looked at it and said that everything was in compliance. I don't know what that's all about.
Well, Mr. Chairman, sorry for the interruption. The state also requires that a certificate of occupancy be issued. So the state inspects for what the state requires, but they defer to the building department to issue the certificate of occupancy and for us to approve what we approve. It's a separation of powers. So if the state had approved it, then there wouldn't be a need for a certificate of occupancy. But the state's approval is contingent on the certificate of occupancy, and the certificate of occupancy is contingent upon compliance with the code.
Okay, so what she needs to do, go ahead and go over that again. On what she needs to do. She needs a plan for one thing. That's correct, right?
So yes, and we do have a plan and we do have drawings. We need details, a cross-section detail of this egress window showing that it complies with all the requirements of Residential Code of Ohio, Section 310. And we need, and the windows on the second floor have to be 5.7 square feet so that the fire department can access the windows in case of emergency and remove children from the second floor windows.
Okay. All right. So those are some of the requirements. And I'm assuming she has someone working with her, an architect or someone that's helping her with this. Is that correct?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know who drew these. They're
Okay. Okay, well, let's go back and ask, Ms. Tell, you heard what the city has to say.
Yes.
Okay, so those are gonna be the requirements before we can approve anything and give you any kind of variances from those requirements. There isn't anything here that we can vary, is there, Mr. Vanover?
Well, Mr. Chairman, you can, the windows on the second floor are existing windows that are non-compliant. The current residential code of Ohio, even if it were just a house that wasn't a daycare, currently requires the 5.7 square feet. And that would be the only item that you could vary on the, I mean, that's the only variance that could be granted is that the existing windows remain instead of expanding them because it would require a structural expansion to change the window sizes.
Okay,
But that, from our perspective and the code perspective, there's a reason why, especially in a daycare use where the children are, I mean, they're daycare children. They're not familiar with the home, right? This isn't their house. So they're less familiar and the need for 5.7 square feet just for the fire department to do their work and to remove children is, it's a big deal.
Okay. Yeah,
I have a question. When you say second floor windows, what floor exactly are you speaking of? Cause I have the basement, I have the first floor, and I have the second floor, which is where, you know, my personal space is, like my bedroom. So there won't be anybody on the second story where my personal space is. That won't be used for daycare at all. Nobody's allowed up there. That's my personal space. So I'm only using the first floor where the kitchen and the bathroom is, and the basement. Those are the only two floors being used. So the smaller windows on the, on actually like the third floor where the bedrooms are, my personal space, I noticed those windows came that way with the house, but I did notice they were a little smaller than the average window, but that level's not being used at all for
So,
daycare in no way.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, where is the sleeping rooms for the children?
what floor?
So, I'm sorry.
What floor?
They will be on the main level, which is, the first floor, not the basement. So they will be on the main level where there's the, like the patio doors that lead out to the deck, the front door, and then all of the windows on that level.
So, Mr. Chairman, the code doesn't, it doesn't separate it that way. It's, of course, that could be a mitigating factor that the board, considers. But the requirement is that the sleeping rooms, the whole house is reviewed as a daycare. It's not separated out for, this is where they will be, this is where they won't be. If it was a commercial space, then that's feasible to do. But under type A and type B daycares, the expectation is that the sleeping rooms are part of the daycare as the rest of the space. So, and the code requires, these window sizes accordingly, as you said, for a 24-hour operation, or even regardless of how it's being used, it's how it's allowed to be used. Our responsibility is to approve what is and what can be.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
if the first floor, which is the entry level, not the lower level, is used and designated only for sleeping, is it possible that we can grant a variance that that is the only room the children can sleep on because they have windows and doors that they can directly access to the outside?
well, the size of the windows on that floor, in compliance, Mr. Vanover, do you know?
Mr. Chairman, because there are doors on that floor, and there's no sleeping rooms, they are in compliance.
Okay,
However, because that scenario is impossible to police, if the board is inclined to grant a variance, then I believe the clearest path would be to grant a variance not requiring compliant windows on the second floor. Because there's no way for us to police where they're sleeping, where they're not sleeping.
Can someone quit moving that drawing? It's very hard to follow this.
Which slide did you want to see, Mr.
What?
Maskey?
Just leave it right where it is, please.
Okay,
And just with the,
I have one question for the appellant.
uh-huh,
When you say the children will be sleeping, are there temporary cots that you lay out and the kids lay in cots?
yes. And they're all assigned to each child. They have their own. And, as far as the policing, you know, making sure that the space is being used as, you know, as it should, that's what my state worker, my food program worker, they do 3 pop-ups a year. So that's 6 with both entities. And they adhere to those pop-ups. They are who pretty much police that everything is being done correctly and safely. They're the ones who monitor our fire drills, our emergency weather drills, their sleeping conditions. They do police that very well.
What is the maximum number of children that can sleep in that room on the main level?
Right now, it's my license capacity, which is 6.
What are you trying to achieve to get to?
I'm trying to get to, I don't want to say, I'm trying to get to 12, but like I said, I would have to have another employee in order to get to that. So, you know, there will be another registered adult working with the children as well. So that adds a level of safety for the kids and for ourselves.
And the basement is being used for what, a play area or? what
Yes,
is-
that's where the play area, that's where they are, that's where the classroom is. Pretty much their activities are done on the lower level. And
But
that's,
we have non-compliant windows and maybe the ability to get up to them, we're not sure about whether that's compliant either. So we have an issue with the basement, correct?
it was with the basement, it was just the egress window. However, I did use, they actually gave us a printout, the state did, of the specs for the window. So I went according to those specs. And when my state worker came in and they came in and did the inspection of everything and they tested it, they said I was in compliance and they approved it. I've been licensed 5 years. So I went from an apartment to a home. So they inspected everything and they approved it. They approved everything, so.
Okay. Mr. Vanover, on the basement area, what is that considered to be compliant if they're not sleeping in it?
No, Mr. Chairman, they use the space in this manner. If we could go back to the pictures of the window.
1 second. Are you referring to these pictures?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so this is clearly, regardless of the size, I don't know who approved this from the state licensing board. But if you look at the bottom left, there's a cover on the egress well. If you look in the picture directly above that, there's a tree between the window and the egress. Looking at the picture of in the middle, this is not a compliant ladder to get them out. The height is greater. I don't have the measurements, but it appears greater than what is required. I mean, regardless of what the licensing board approved, or even the code says, you can look at this and see that this is not an egress. They are not getting out of here. And we don't, and on top of that, we don't have the plans showing how this is supposed to be built. So the window size itself may be compliant, but the egress to the window and the egress out on the other side, all of that has to be designed as an egress well, and it is not.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, are you working with a licensed architect in the state of Ohio to achieve this?
Yeah,
Who is your architect?
well, I had a contractor, because I had a 203K loan, which came with a person who conducts everything, who works on behalf of the interests of the bank and myself.
Okay,
And
Miss.
So I had a contractor and they hired everybody, so I didn't personally meet them, but
Okay,
yeah.
Mr. Chairman to Mr. Vanover. This is a commercial space. Shouldn't there be stamped and licensed drawings? And I do not see.
well,
And what
it's
fees-
my personal home. It's my primary home. That's the rule to be a state licensed home child care provider, that that has to be my personal home, so it's not a commercial space at all.
Well, I was asking Mr. Vanover this question.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Maskey, the state of Ohio regulates type A and type B daycares under the residential code of Ohio.
Okay,
So you're telling me we do not need a licensed professional to assist in this?
No, what I'm saying is that the code doesn't require that a design professional be engaged. I think that what is needed and whether there's value to do so that's a different conversation, but the state does not require a licensed professional to do this work.
Okay, so I guess, Mr. Chairman, as the architect on this board, I was leaning towards supporting a variance where the children could stay on the entry level. But I feel that the building department has brought up enough concerns that I would be hesitant right now to do that for fear of many kids in a small house and something terrible happens that someone will get hurt. So I think the appellant should go back to whoever she's working with and try to resolve the questions that the city has raised and work with the city to resolve this.
okay. Any other
I
board
have,
members?
one thing with the window there, that is a weed that I just need to go and pull. That's in the window well, that's just a small, I could pull it one time.
I don't think it has anything to do
But
with the plant, ma'am.
the cover is just a little extra nugget that I purchased when I purchased the window, just so when it's not in use, like now with the leaves falling, it doesn't allow anything to collect in there. But it's not affixed to the window well. I could literally, if the wind blows hard enough, it'll just blow it off. That's just a cover I put on there when it's not in use, so that stuff doesn't fill up in there like debris or leaves or anything like that. Literally, the kid, when we do our drills, I did leave it on for one of the drills just to see how it works with the kids if the cover was on there and they didn't even have to touch it and it flew off. He just, because once you get in the window well, it looks taller than what it is, but they literally would just step right over it. Like when he stood up, and he's 7, when he stood up, the cover just, went off because it's not affixed to it. It's just a little extra something that I bought when I purchased the window, just so I wouldn't have to clean it out so much. But that's not a permanent fixture for the window. And that weed, I do just need to pull the weed out of there. That's all that is. But as far as the ladder and the platform for it, that is permanently affixed as well. My licensing worker, she actually climbed it herself to get out and test it. But like I said, we have to do monthly drills with all of the children. It has to be timed, it has to be stamped, it has to be proven. And we get out just fine in record time. I do understand it's a little different if there was an actual emergency. I do understand that nerves play a part, but I am very confident in the safety of this home daycare.
Okay, but it needs to be compliant though.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, the residential code of Ohio has a very specific design for what is required for an egress window. And the adjudication order states, and we require that design be provided to us so that we can review it and approve it, and that it be constructed in accordance with the residential code. Understanding that if we issue a certificate of occupancy that precludes the second floor and precludes the basement, then the licensing board won't issue the license. So it'll be a matter of getting around this issues, but still not being able to be licensed because there's a square footage number required. and a certain amount of space and play space, and all of these things are required for the children. So how they're going to be used in lieu of compliance with the code doesn't matter. If we exclude those on the CO, they won't get their license.
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna have to provide what the city's asking for, so that you can get this approved. And you know, they're gonna have to make sure that you meet all that, and before we can go forward with even coming close to giving you any kind of a variance. If this was good, okay, and it was acceptable, then we could possibly say, okay, eliminate that second floor totally. You know, we can possibly do something with the variance, but you need to get this taken care of. You need to work with the city and do it just like Mr. Maskey said. So right now, we're inclined to deny your request until you complete that, what you need to do.
And I guess I'm unclear on exactly what I need to do.
Well, you're gonna have to get with the city and have the inspector come out, and you're gonna have to, go ahead, Mr. Vanover.
Apologies for the interruption. Mr. Chairman, what we would require is that the plans be corrected to show the smoke detectors in every bedroom and outside the vicinity of every bedroom. That the plans be corrected to provide a site plan showing the width and depth of the parking spaces. That the plans be corrected to show the existing heat registers throughout. That the plans be corrected to show this egress well in compliance. And that the plans be corrected to show the actual square footage sizes of the upstairs windows. With those, we can review it, and if at that point, the only thing that is still non-compliant is the second floor windows, we will re-adjudicate it, and then they can provide that singular item to the board for variance.
So the drawings, the revised drawings that my contractor submitted, it didn't show those, cause with the first letter that I had got, all that stuff was on there, so he redid the drawings to include the smoke detectors and everything. I thought that was submitted.
Well, Mr. Chairman, and that may have been, but this appeal, we're under appeal for the adjudication order. So if those things were addressed and those things were corrected, then at the conclusion of this hearing, we will review them accordingly and adjudicate them accordingly. So at
Okay.
this point, we ask that you deny the request for variance and remand it back to the department for further review.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, so motion is in order to deny the request for a variance and to remand it back to the property back to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion
Moved.
moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Denk.
Mr. Bradley,
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, you'll be getting notice within 2 weeks. Good luck on that. Okay, the next case, adjudication order, building docket A 207-24, 2012 West 25th Street.
Mr. Gallagher, give me 1 second, please.
Yeah, sure.
application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order to B permit 240-22987-02. Requesting a variance underneath the Division of Fires review. Present for today's hearing, Present for today's hearing, Tom Vanover, Chief Billing Official, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record? If you are present in room 514, please come up to the front. State your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Joe Delray, I'm the Director of Construction for MLI.
Elena Bauer, architect with SA Group.
Sir, are you gonna be speaking?
I may. I'm Larry DeVita, architect for SA Group.
Oh, you can sit there.
Okay, all those giving testimony solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do.
Okay, whoever's going to be speaking on behalf of the appellant here, go ahead.
Great. Thank you, board members, and thank you, city staff. My name is Joe Delray. I'm the Director of Construction for MRN. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the ownership of the United Bay Building, which is the United 25th Building LLC. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to present to you all today. We are appealing an adjudication order to our request for permit to convert the vacant 7th floor of office space into residential apartments in the United Bank Building at 2012 West 25th Street. The United Bank Building was initially constructed in the 1920s. When we acquired the building in the 2010s, the building did not have a sprinkler system. In 2013, we added the 10th floor penthouse, and as a part of that process, we added a fire pump, a standpipe, and sprinkled that new 10th floor. Later in 2018, we converted 2 floors of vacant office to residential and extended the sprinkler system to those vacant floors at that time. Today, we are requesting to be able to convert the vacant 7th floor in a similar manner, and as such, extend the sprinkler system to that floor. We are looking for relief from the requirement to sprinkle the entire building at this time, with the provision that we commit to continue extending the sprinkler system to each floor each time we submit for a permit to engage in substantial renovation. Additionally, we are also open to doing some upgrades to our life safety system in the building with a focus on improving the fire commandery and standpipe. With me today are 2 of our design consultants, Elena Bauer and Larry DeVita from SA Group. I'd like to turn the presentation over to them to walk the board members and staff through our appeal request in more detail and to talk about some of the upgrades that we are proposing for the life safety system.
Thank you again for your time today. As Joe mentioned, I'm going to provide a brief description of the building's existing conditions in order to give some additional context to today's discussion. As mentioned, the UBB was originally constructed in 1925. It is a 10-story high-rise building of 1B non-combustible construction type. The existing construction consists of a steel frame with flat 2-hour fire resistance rated clay tile arch floors, with fireproofing consisting of clay tile block, plaster, and concrete topping slabs. All floors are currently fully occupied. I think Joe covered this, but I'm going to go through this again. Floors 3, 4, and 10 were fully sprinklered under previous renovations. The basement and the 9th floor were partially sprinkled under prior work, and fire alarm and smoke detection systems upgrades were also previously made to the building. There is an existing fire command room on the 1st floor, and building ownership is prepared to commit to certain upgrades within the command room. As mentioned, fire pump controls, generator controls, and updated full building prints to be available to the fire department. Additionally, ownership has improvement plans to upgrade existing class 1 standpipe hose valves to class 3 standpipe hose valves on the basement and roof levels and on floors 1 and 10. Larry, I don't know if you have any additional input, but I think that kind of covers the.
Yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers it, and we can definitely answer any questions about what's there and what's being proposed.
We also provided with our submission additional supplemental documents to the permit set that covers some egressing information, life safety information. Hopefully, I think this speaks to some of the items within the adjudication order that we discussed with the fire department.
You had mentioned that all 10 floors are occupied.
Actually, the 7th floor is vacant. All the other floors are currently occupied.
Okay. Do you have elevators?
We do. We have 3 elevators.
Okay, and they're compliant? Stretcher, you have that?
They are oversized cabs. I do not know if they are of the size for stretcher, but they are oversized cabs for the year that it was constructed.
Okay, that probably are then. Okay, do you have any more comments or are you done?
We are happy to answer any questions the board has.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as described, this is an existing building, 10 stories, that is partially sprinklered. This is the renovation of the 7th floor to convert from office to residential. As you're aware, the code states that any building with an R use is required to be sprinklered throughout, and the appellant's request is to sprinkler the building throughout, but in stages as they remodel the occupied spaces. If I could get clarity again, though, on how many, excluding the 7th floor, which is this remodel, which floors are not sprinklered? Is this the?
Floors 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are currently not sprinkled.
And the first floor is?
The first floor lobby is not sprinkled either.
And what about the egress stairs and the egress, the exits?
I don't believe we have any sprinkler at the egress to the building.
No.
And those non-sprinklered floors, even the corridors and hallways are not sprinkled either, correct?
That's correct.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to Lieutenant Alexiak.
Okay, Lieutenant?
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, I see in your adjudication order, Chapter 10 of the OEDC is cited 1011.21 for fire sprinkler system, which I believe gives you the answer to what you're attempting to do here. So I'm curious is why you're not pursuing this path of where specifically allow me to share this with the board. The installation of the automatic sprinkler system shall be required within the area of the change of occupancy, that would be your 7th floor, and areas of the building not separated horizontally and vertically from the change of occupancy by one of the following. And then it gives you 6 options here: non-rated permanent partition and horizontal assemblies, 2, the fire partition, 3, the smoke partition, 4, the smoke barrier, 5, the fire barrier, and 6, the fire wall. I'm just kind of, I'm curious, like, why is this a separation issue that you can't do? What's the issue here?
The issue in the existing building code is that required, there's 2 requirements. There's that, which covers everything, all building types. There is a specific requirement that if there's a certain sort of special use that goes back to chapter 4 in the basic building code, that you have to meet those requirements. That requirement under R2 is that the building needs to be sprinklered throughout. We would be very happy to comply with that, and I think that the building does. But like I said, there's another requirement that's more stringent in the existing building.
Is that the high-rise requirement?
It's not high rise, it's the R2 requirement.
Okay, so we're putting an R2 occupancy on the 7th floor. And I understand that from a fire perspective, that is certainly a higher risk. And the IBC recognizes that use group as the highest risk of all of the use groups defined by the IBC. We know that, okay? But if we're looking at the code here, what about the other alternative, which we didn't call out? Now, this adjudication order, we called these items out because we needed that clarified. You guys submitted a comprehensive set of plans and a lot of supporting documents, but that's what we needed clarified. We could see the documents. Your presentation was excellent. I can hear and understand what you're attempting to do or what you want to accomplish here, but we need the plans to show that. And that's what we were trying to clarify. I believe, I can't speak for the examiner, but that's what we were trying to clarify on the drawings. Now, I'm also aware the OEBC, if you're not sprinklering throughout, gives you an option of utilizing a class 3 standpipe system with smoke detection. So, and I'd heard you mention there's a class 3 on some of the floors, but not others. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate. So the floors that currently do not have the class 3, building ownership is prepared to update those values to class 3.
So, is that a viable option that you're doing as laid out? This is not Lieutenant Alexis speaking. I'm actually speaking to what the OBC gives us as options. OEBC gives us as options. If we're not going to be sprinkling throughout, is that an option that you're able to follow that path? Were you utilizing the class 3 standpipe system with smoke detection, which if those are in place and you're sprinkling the 7th floor, that protects the rest of the building. You know what I mean? I can see the intent there, so that we can have people living on a 7th floor, 70 feet above the entrance level. Meanwhile, the rest of the building is occupied. I mean, is that the path you're looking to go?
And I think that is the intent. I mean, there are class 1 standpipes in the stairwells currently, which, like we said, we're upgrading to class 3. The building does have full smoke detection.
Yeah.
In all of the public spaces and throughout the office floors. So I think that was the intended path in previously, and I think that was always the intent, so that when the other 2 floors were upgraded to residential, we implemented that. We started, sprinkling the floors as we went, and knowing that we had, the smoke detection, knowing that the building is quote unquote 1920s fireproof construction. I mean, we're concerned too, as architects for life safety. And I mean, that was kind of the path that we were pursuing. And we, in the past, we were comfortable with that, but I mean, the code has changed. And so we want to make sure that, we're meeting everybody's expectations and that everybody's on the same page.
Understood. Mr. Chairman, to the board, fire has no issue if the appellant is going to pursue that path and is able to clarify that on the plans. I only ask that we do clarify that by, identifying those issues and answering that via the adjudication, if that's amenable to the CBO.
Is that a question for me?
It's for the board. The board in the, that's a great, Commissioner. Is that sound accurate or?
So, Mr. Chairman, based on that, we do not We do not object to the variance, providing the conditions mentioned by the design professional and Lieutenant Alexiak are included in the design, and that includes a class 3 standpipe and full detection per the OBC.
Okay. So that would clear all this. We need to get that, it's something in writing.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify to the appellate, the adjudication includes other items, but it's my understanding that the, well, I guess this adjudication order just is regarding the sprinkler system.
Okay, so as long as they get it in writing specifying what Lieutenant Alexiak was looking for, then with that, this can be approved right now for this adjudication order. Is that correct?
Mr.
Or just-
Chairman, to Mr. Alexiak, to Lieutenant Alexiak, apologies. Is it your understanding that if those two items are complied with, then it complies with the code, or that is mitigating it's a mitigating factor to allow for a variance?
Mr. Chairman, to the CBO, I believe it's complying with the code. But even if it doesn't, because of the special use out of chapter 4, I believe it is mitigating as well, because we meet all the risk factors. It certainly meets the intent.
And just for clarification, unless I'm misunderstanding the code, Mr. Chairman, to Lieutenant Alexiak, the Ohio existing building code would require only sprinkling of the project area, but also the means of egress. And that would bring in the stairwells and that first floor historic lobby. And then, to my understanding, that would be full compliance with applicable codes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, let's discuss the lobby. Do we have a floor plan of the lobby and with the exits?
We have a picture of the lobby. I think it's on the first page of the presentation.
Is there a plan view of the first floor in this
Yes,
presentation?
That's a good
It's
picture.
It's G 1.1.
With
Is that
question,
the right,
Yeah, you can zoom on the upper, you know.
this one here? Is here?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
actually,
I think
That's the wrong one, sorry.
Which one?
it's to the, if you scroll to the right, there.
This one here?
I think it's down.
It's down. Sorry, it's hard to see on the screen.
That's basement.
It's the one to the left.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, here, I'll-
There we go.
There we go. Thank
This one
you.
here?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if I may ask a question of the building official and Lieutenant Alexiak, as you'll note, our stairs egress, one stair egress is directly to the outside. That would be the western stair there shown on the left side of the page. And then our stairwell next to the elevators, I would say are within 5 steps of the front door. Is that alleviate the need to sprinkle those? Since basically you exit right out to the outdoors?
So, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Del Rey, that's the stair to the bottom right in this plan view.
Yes.
So you exit, you leave the exit into the lobby and and then turn directly right out those doors.
That's right.
And that portion of the lobby is not sprinklered.
That's correct.
But that would need to be sprinkled, right?
Strictly speaking.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the code allows to leave the exit into a lobby for for 50% of your exiting or less. But under the provisions that we are discussing, that portion of the lobby would be technically be required to be sprinklered. And Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Del Rey, is this lobby under the historic preservation provisions?
I believe so, yes.
So Mr. Vanover, what does that mean now?
Well, Mr. Chairman, it means that in order to approve this under as compliant with the code as written, that portion of the means of egress would be required to be sprinklered from the time they leave the 7th floor through this lobby and out. Or the board can grant a variance for this at this point. Based on the conversation, it would be a variance for this portion of the means of egress to not be sprinkled. But the balance of the means of, we would object to anything more than this portion of the lobby. We would require all the other means of egress and exit sprinkled as required.
Mr. Chairman, I'm consistent with that thinking. I think it's the spirit of code compliance is met if the stairwells are sprinkled, and if this little bit of historic lobby is not sprinkled. I think that's not an unreasonable. That doesn't introduce any severe hazard, I don't think. Are the stairs pressurized?
The stairs are not pressurized.
Okay, so we're talking about sprinkling them.
That
And-
egress path, yeah.
Right, and the egress path, and to give a variance for the lobby not to be sprinkled at this time?
That's my personal opinion, yes.
Okay. What about the class 3, the standpipe and the rest of that? Is there, I mean, we'd like to be able to just move this on and get this taken care of, or they're gonna have to submit and work with fire. I'm hoping we can just get this done here now. So we're saying that they do not have to sprinkle the whole building, is that correct? Only where they're working to get each floor, whatever they're as they go along. So in that part, we would have to kind of vary that too. Is that correct, Mr. Vanover?
No, Mr. Chairman, I think that the clearest path is for the board to grant a variance for the requirement of this historic lobby.
Okay,
And then the design professionals, based on this adjudication order for this item through item B, as Lieutenant Alexiak has said, they can submit their plan as a response to the adjudication order. And providing it, it shows all of those, the detection and the standpipe systems as compliant and whatever separations I think are required. But they can basically respond to the adjudication order and address everything else. And just with your variance to sprinklering this portion of the lobby, we can then approve that.
okay,
Lieutenant Alexiak, is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
okay. So they're meeting it. They're gonna end up meeting what they need to do. So, okay, so our variance has to do basically with the lobby. Everything else is going to be required with what Lieutenant Alexiak has said. They're gonna work on that to get that approved. So a motion is to allow the lobby not to be sprinkled.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dank,
Second.
second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley,
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notification will go out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you all.
Thank you.
A point of clarification, real quick, are we, both stairwells have to be sprinkled, or just the stairwell that exits out into the lobby has to be sprinkled?
I I was gonna say that you're gonna work with Lieutenant Alexiak on this, okay? And to get that down so that it gets approved. And so if something has to be brought back, then so be it. But I would just follow what he's telling you on this. Work with,
The Ohio existing building code will require the path of egress, and then you're compliant, will require that path to be sprinkled. So that would be both.
that takes care of it.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to 310, I believe.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
we need to bring up, docket A 13024. The, attorney has.
okay, all right. So it's this, it'll be the second docket. Docket A 3024, 4065 East 79th Street,
Docket A 130, Mr. Chairman.
130. Okay,
9907 Lake Avenue.
13024, okay, deficient, the lead, okay. Lead docket A 13024, 9907 Lake Avenue.
That's correct. Application and fees are in order. This is a notice of deficient lead inspection dated on May 13th of 2024. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover and Jacobson Law. We also have Assistant Director of Law, Melissa Pastor here as well. Would the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record?
I'm Richard Bain, attorney for PB Free and Zach Burkons, who are appellants in this matter.
Okay, you're the only one gonna be speaking?
I'm the only one who's.
Okay, I solemnly
sure.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and
I do.
proceed.
I'm happy to inform the board that a resolution of this matter has been achieved with the city law department and the department. Essentially, we have to finish executing our written agreement regarding it. But we have terms and it's going to extend for 30 days.
It's my understanding, sorry, I apologize, for interrupting. We weren't gonna do a written agreement unless the board wanted one. The agreement just is that there's going to be an extension of 30 days given to the appellant. And after that, if more time is needed, they can come to the city and for good cause shown, additional time would be granted at that point.
Okay, so then your request then is from us would
Yeah.
be to what? That we're just going to,
Grant 30 days for them to comply, and if additional time is needed, to allow them to come to the law department and building and housing to show that good cause is needed, to grant an additional extension.
okay, so we're gonna, the board will grant 30 days with your rest of your stipulations that if more time is needed. The motion,
So move.
okay, motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Dang.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
Yep, we don't have date certains, and I also have questions on when you say additional time granted. Would that entails them coming to file an appeal with us for additional time, or will the law department handle those additional extension of time without our involvement? So can we get date certains? for
Yeah,
that
we can
30
get the
days?
date certain would be December 20th, 2024. That would be 30 days. And I would like to have the attorneys handle it. And it only comes back through us if necessary.
We're comfortable with that.
And the law department is comfortable with that as well.
Okay, all right. Are we set?
Set.
I need to call, Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay. Notification will be sent out in 2 weeks, I do believe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, are we moving up to the top, Ms. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, building docket A 127-24, 12704 Shaw Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is a condemnation of the main structure issued on May 17th of 2024. Appeal was received on June 20th of 2024, requesting for 80 days to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney and or representative, please state your name for the record.
Hello, Robert Lewis speaking here for Gold Star Housing.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
I came to the meeting. I was asking for a year extension. I'm diligently working on the building. For the violations, I have the masonry work done. I have the 3 chimneys stuccoed, and the perimeter of the building from 3 feet to the ground re-stuccoed. I have the stairs material coming in to be replaced and flooring to be replaced. The electrical is on and going. I had that turned on by Cleveland Public Power. The gas meters is there. I have not turned the gas on yet because I have not hooked up the hot water tanks. The hot water tanks will be hooked up once the floors and stairs are completely in.
Okay, and you're requesting a year?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we object to a year. This is a property that's corporately owned. This is an investment property. And we object to a year to make the repairs. This was issued in May of 2024, so we're already 6 months into the process.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, you mentioned you stuccoed the building. Do you mean you tuck pointed the building?
Correct. Tuck point. I had a masonry guy come out for Imani Roofing to do the repairs.
Those two terms mean totally different things. So I just wanted to clarify you tuck pointed and not stuccoed. Thank you.
okay, so we can grant you 180 days, which would be May 20th, 2025, to complete the violation. So you need to stay working on it. Motion is in order for May 20th, 2025 to abate the violation.
So move.
Second. Moved by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we got housing docket A 3024, 4065 East 79th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure issued on January 12th of 2024. Appeal was received on February 9th of 2024. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellate or his or her attorney and or representative, please state your name for the record.
Randy Gray.
I didn't catch his last name.
Gray, Gray.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Okay, so, we made substantial, progress on the property. We acquired the property in September of 2023. As you can see from the pictures, we've done quite a bit of work to the property. The property is not a condemned property. All the utilities are on, the lights are on. The light company came out, they said they inspected out to do a meter-based inspection, so they, verified that everything was grounded, and everything with the property, so, the lights are on, the gas company came out, they ran new, gas lines from the exterior of the property. They actually moved the meters from the basement to the outside of the property. They did run a new, gas line. The water company came out and put a new curb box on the curb, of the property. We were in the process of, so we did pull a permit. And when we pulled the permit, people kept dumping at the property. So while we're in the process of, doing renovations on the property, and with the illegal dumping, I contacted the city to let the city know that, this is illegal dumping and there's an issue here. And when I did that, the city came out and issued a condemnation notice. But we were still in the process of trying to get everything, rectified with the squatters that was staying in the property and the illegal dumping, just to kind of clean up the neighborhood. And we did all the work we could, and this situation is kind of hindering us from, finishing up the process and getting the property occupied.
So it kind of stopped you from working?
Well, yes, because, the majority, everything is pretty much done at the property. There's minor touch-ups that need to be done, but we can't, we need to get the property occupied now because they continue to come dump at the property. Like as recently as last week, they came and dumped a load of debris in the yard of the property. So we had to pay somebody to come and clean it up. So we need to really get somebody in the property. But this situation is just holding everything up.
Do you have any idea who's dumping?
I have no idea.
Okay. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman and Ms. Davis, we went through past the address. Could you provide me the address?
Yeah, 4065 East 79th Street.
Bear with me just a moment, please.
Sure.
So, Mr. Chairman, I mean, the pictures obviously show that there's been work done. The property was condemned in January of this year, initially inspected in October of last year. And the city's boarded it up, according to our records, we boarded it up in January and again in April. And I don't see any permits for construction on this property.
Well, we pulled a permit in December of 2023. Before the condemnation violation was issued. So we had an open permit. And then when I called the city because of the illegal dumping, you all came out and issued a condemnation notice on the property.
So, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, do you have the permit number?
I forwarded the permit information to the city. I actually don't have it in front of me now.
To the chair, the Chief Vanover, I do have the permit information in front of me. Permit number is B230-32942.
bear with me again, please.
Sure.
So, Mr. Chairman, the permit that was issued is to repair or replace 3 windows, 1 door, vanity, cabinets, and drywall as needed. No structural changes. And that was closed in April, and then the notice of condemnation was issued in after the permit was closed out in April. We don't object to more time, Mr. Chairman, but we will require that, the permits be pulled for the balance of the work and for everything that was completed. There's no record of of any plumbing or electrical permits on this property, or the balance of the work, the new kitchen, the new flooring, the new everything else. So we don't object to more time, but we will require that the permits are pulled for the work that was actually done.
Okay, so the permit that you had didn't cover all the work that you did. So you're gonna need to get the permits for that work. You're gonna have to pull them for the plumbing and for the electrical and anything else that wasn't covered, I guess.
That's the concern, though. What it is we pulled the permit and then they issued the condemnation. They didn't issue the condemnation in April. They issued the condemnation in January while we had active permit open to complete the work. And it's not necessary to have the whole architects come out and the plumbing and electric and HVAC inspectors come out, because everything is done. It's no that's hindering the process, because everything's already done, and we need to get the property occupied. And like I stated previously, they continue to dump at the property, and it's not a condemned property.
Yeah, the problem is you didn't pull all the permits that were necessary. You pulled.
They weren't necessary when I pulled the permits. When I pulled my permit in December, the property was not condemned.
All right.
They didn't issue condemnation until after I pulled my permit.
Did you do plumbing and electrical work?
We did minor things. We didn't do any major plumbing and electrical work. We did minor. We may have changed some cabinets, we put sinks in and vanities and faucets and things like that. We didn't do major work. Everything was already in place.
But I still think you need to have permits to do that kind of stuff. That you're saying, you have to have permits for plumbing and you have to have permits for electrical, even if it's minor.
Well, the permit we pulled a permit to change the vanity and change faucets and things of that nature. We didn't do major plumbing and major electrical. We just did minor things like change outlets and things like that, which a permit is not required by an electrical inspector. Doesn't have to come out for minor issues like those. That's
Okay.
minor. That's not like.
Let me ask Mr. Vanover then. Does it need to be, I mean, he's claiming that there wasn't a whole lot of that stuff done.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the inspector's notes on from the permit that was pulled, I'll restate, the permit was to repair 3 windows, a vanity, cabinets, and drywall as needed. And the permit stated that it was compliance final on April 5th, 2024. The windows are in and the house is still in bad shape. And then so it didn't address all of the issues in the house at that time. And then it was ultimately condemned. The work that was permitted even prior to the condemnation did not address the conditions of the house.
Okay.
So I would, and the truth is there's the balance of the work based on, what we're looking at. It needs to be permitted. Had it all been permitted, had it all been inspected, and then we would have never gotten to the point where it was condemnable. There was obviously a substantial amount of work that took place after this permit was finalized out in 4/5/2024.
Okay, So we're gonna require permits and they're
Mr.
gonna have to
Chairman,
re-inspect it.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. We've got someone from the ward office wanting to speak with their hands raised.
Say that again?
There's just someone with your hands raised. Someone has your hand raised
Oh.
from the ward office, I believe. Would that be Kathleen or, yep?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, she's
Um,
sworn in.
Yeah, she's
I
not
was
sworn.
not, I need to be.
You're not what?
Sworn in.
And
Okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm here on behalf of the Ward 12 Councilwoman, Rebecca Moore. This property has been on our radar since she came into office. I know that they didn't acquire it until 2023. But I wanted to say that it was submitted in August for work without permits. And we actually submitted it again last week because we were in the area and noticed that the entire exterior two-story porch has been built onto the exterior of the property since it being condemned and without permits. And the other thing I wasn't sure if this was noted is that the property is $10,000 behind in taxes and it's currently in foreclosure.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. So, we're going back to what we have in front of us here, and that is that you're gonna need to pull the permits, that are required to take care of the condemnation. And you may have to get, a re-inspection of those areas that work was done in, to make sure it's compliant. So that's the requirement. So you need to go pull your permits and we will give you more time to complete that. How much more time do you think you need?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
we would ask that you remand this to the Department of Building and Housing with the extent of the work. He could still pull his permits, he can still get his, all of this work done on the property. But I think that this requires monitoring and it requires a re-inspection.
okay. All right, so that's the board motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion,
So moved.
okay, moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Denk.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, you'll be notified within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay, next docket, housing docket A 110-24, 2110 West 104th Street.
No. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance issued on May 9th of 2024. Appeal was received May 21st of 2024, requesting 90 days to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover and Jacobson Law. Will the attorney or his or her representative please state your name for the record?
Good morning, Attorney Clinton Preslin, appearing on behalf of A Clean House LLC.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God. Okay,
I do so affirm.
all righty.
It's
Go ahead.
my understanding after speaking with Inspector Gregory Conwell that this violation has been closed out and that everything is back in order. So with that being said, if the board so agrees, we will withdraw the appeal.
Okay, Mr. Vanover?
I have no objection.
Okay, we'll consider it withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next docket, housing docket A 126-24, 3003 Nursery Avenue.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
we just have Councilwoman Gray that just came in for docket 13424.
okay, hold on.
So we're gonna pull them up. Are you
Yeah.
ready?
Okay,
Okay. Give me
So-
one sec.
we'll open that docket then instead.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
13424.
Okay, you said 13424.
That is correct.
Okay, that's the time extension, docket A 13424, 3401 East 139th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is hazardous condition. Issued on November 27th of 2023. The time extension, we originally, hold on. We originally heard this docket on May 8th of 2024. At that time, the board granted Seas Inc. until July 7th of 2024 to obtain permits. Time extension was filed on July 7th of 2024. Present for today's hearing, Tom Vanover, Chief Billing Official, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the attorney or his or her representative please state your name for the record?
Chandra Williams.
Siri Conklin Murray.
I don't think they heard you.
Chandra Williams.
Okay, Ms. Williams, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
My plans are to have a contractor pull permits. I had a contractor who did not provide the structural engineering paperwork to me, so I kind of dismissed the contractor because things were being misled. And that's why I request a 3-year extension to get the work done, because it's a lot of work.
Okay, Mr. Van, did you have more to say?
Yes, excuse me. I'm in the process of hiring another contractor to come out and reassess the property and help me move forward.
Okay. Time, you know how much time you need to do this?
I'm not sure, because everybody keeps, I guess they're all in overload with their work, so I'm just being patient at this moment and trying to do what I can do to secure the building and keep it safe.
Okay, because we're seeing that it does have hazardous conditions. So let me go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, is the reconstruction and the rebuilding of this building, is it funded?
Oh, no, everything has been out of pocket cost, so that's probably the delay as well.
So, Mr. Chairman, the damage to this building was the result of a criminal act by a third party. And there was actually an explosion in the front that removed this portion of the building. I was present in the middle of the night when this happened. There was actually a fatality at this place, and the city of Cleveland, our contractor, was responsible for removing the damaged portions and backfilling the grass area that we're looking at. So it really is it's a tragic story, but at the same time, as an unfunded It is a considerable amount of work and it is unfunded and it's gone on for quite some time. And I don't see it's a request for more time, but I don't see a clear path forward without some other partner or some other, some funding source to take over the renovation of the building.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I guess a motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property to Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion?
So
Moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Bradley.
Was the councilwoman here for this case?
Yes, I'm here. Well, thank you.
She needs to be sworn in, Mr. Gallagher.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
thank you.
Okay, the Councilwoman Gray, Ward 4, and I just want to, echo, tailgate, what, Chief, Code Enforcer, Tom Vanover just stated. I was called in on this tragic situation as well. And it's unfortunate that, Ms. Williams is in this situation, due to the fact of, criminal, incident that happened to her building. And I have been supportive with her in this journey, hopefully that we were able to find other funders to help fund this building to renovate it and bring it back to life, so she could continue to do what she was doing to help a young kids have a location to live in, and also young kids who had who was getting out of foster care. So this what this building was for. She was giving everything that she had. Each of her mother created this space for young kids to find a space and get job training skills in this building. But due to the fact that I have been working with her to try to get funders to help fund this project for her over time, and the majority of them are overwhelmed with their other projects that's already funded. And we just got some news that I called her. We spoke this morning, because unfortunately the lead funder unfortunately wasn't able to provide the assistance because they were overwhelmed. And from that funder, the other two funders will have help behind that funder because they said it's a structure. So we're looking at 3 funders, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and we were working on that for the whole year. And it just been up and down with the with the funders. Due to the massive damage to this building, we just couldn't get the funders to commit at all due to what they were already doing. So I'm very supportive of Ms. Shonda Williams. We tried as much as we can and the best as we could do everyone that stood up and tried to help her with this. So I'm here for the support that she needs, and I'm going to continue to support.
Very good. Thank you, Councilwoman. I appreciate it. So I think that the motion that we have here is probably the best path forward, that the city will work, with the situation here. So we're going to put them in charge. And so that was a motion. I think we had a motion did we get the motion fully in, Ms. Davis?
Mr. Chairman, yes.
Okay, all right.
Amended.
Did you take the vote?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Excuse me. So I can move forward with this project? Is that what you're saying, or are you saying it's denied?
Yes, if you get the funding, you can move forward. You're going to work with the city on it, and yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, just for understand that no more time was granted. You can continue to work on the project and the property. to the best of your ability, but no more time was granted and it's still under violation with the city.
Right.
So what is it I need to continue to do? I'm trying to correct all violations at this time. So what is it that they're asking me to do?
Well, you would probably have to, if you get the funding, to get a contractor, because it's going to need that, and to get them involved, maybe an architect. You're going to have to get, whatever it takes to put that together. You can do that if you get the funding to do it. But I think, what we're saying is that, no, we're not going to grant more time, but you can still continue on the project. Just work diligently to get what you can to get it completed to the best of your ability.
Thank you.
Okay. And you got the support of Councilwoman, so that's a help.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's see, we're gonna move back up. Okay, so we started the open housing docket A 126-24 3003 Nursery Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. Issued on May 2nd of 2024. Appeal was received June 12th of 2024, requesting for 90 days to complete abatement of the violation. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, I do not see Angela Garcia in the participants panel, nor is that person in room 514 this morning.
Thank you. Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman, bear with me as I pull this up. So, Mr. Chairman, the inspection record shows that they have been working on the property. But they're still not in full compliance. We would ask that you deny any more time and remand it back to the department.
Okay.
So the
Motion is,
inspector could follow up.
sure. Motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion. Motion by Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maschke?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Housing docket A 133-24 15340 York Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance, issued on May 14th of 2024. Appeal was received May 31st of 2024, requesting for 60 days to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record?
Morning, Attorney Eric Allen on behalf of New Horizon.
Okay, Mr. Allen, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
This property was actually sold to a buyer and the buyer assumed the violations.
Okay, you got anything else you're gonna say on that? Because I know Mr. Vanover is gonna, he's got something he's gonna say about that, so.
Okay.
Let's just get his take on that. Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman, I have the address as 15340 York.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Davis, can you provide me with the violation notice number, because it's not coming up under that address?
Through the chair to Mr. Vanover. Violation number is V as in Victor, 240-13503.
240-13503.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. I apologize. It's, yeah, your Rick. So, Mr. Chairman, yes, you are correct that the notice of violation was issued to New Horizon Capital, and they were ordered to make corrections to the property by the Director of the Department of Building and Housing under our local ordinance, and the requirement is that they correct the violations that they were ordered to correct. Selling the property does not transfer the order that was given, although as a private contract, if the new owner accepts those violations, selling the property does not eliminate the previous owner's responsibility to comply with the order. It only eliminates their ability to do so. So we would ask that you remand the property to the Department of Building and Housing and that you deny any more time.
Okay. Okay, so, all right, so, Mr. Elaine, you got that information. And so that's what we'll do. Okay, a motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Denk.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, so notice will be sent out within 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We get next docket is the time extension building, docket A 13524, 4712 Clinton Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This notice of violation is fire damage dated for July 18th of 2023. We originally heard this docket on January 17th of 2023. Granted the appellant until July 17th of 2024 to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Law Dan Jacobson. Will the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record?
This is Fidel Rodriguez.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what the plans are. What's your
Yeah, of course, the fire started back in June of 2023. My mother did get burned in that unit. She resides upstairs. I reside downstairs. The downstairs was damaged due to the water. So it took a few months for the insurance to negotiate with the adjuster. Finally, they negotiated back in December. It was late December. And then immediately I hired a crew to clean up the place. And then I hired an electrician contractor in January. That was $18,000 for that. I paid him half. He started the work, and he just now finished that work just last week, which I've been on his case every day to see when it's going to be done, because without the electrical work, I can't proceed and do the other work. So I'm going into hiring a legal assistant for that, because it's taken way too long and delaying the repair. Now that the electrical was just given a green tag, I'm proceeding and having all of it done. I just got a contractor, and I believe they just got the permit just a few days ago to do all the rest of the work. So they're telling me it's going to be done in a fast pace. So hopefully it'll be done in 3 months, maybe sooner.
Okay.
It is costing me a lot of money, because that was our residence. And right now I'm at a different place, which, I've been here for well over a year. It's costing me a lot of money to be here till that place is done.
Mr. Chairman, we don't object to 120 days to complete the renovations.
Okay, motion is in order to extend to March 20th. You said 120 days, Mr.
Yeah.
Van? Yeah, okay, March 20th, 2025 to abate the violation. Motion?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Time extension housing docket A 13124, 3855 East 147th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is printer registration and interior and exterior maintenance. That was issued on September 1st of 2023. We originally heard this docket on April 24th of 2024. We granted the appellant until June 24th to 2024 to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Billing Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, I do not see Alicia Allen in our participants panel, nor is that person in room 514 this morning.
Okay, Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice having been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with its hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, there's a certificate of disclosure for this property indicating that they're attempting to sell it. So we would ask that you remand it back to us.
Okay, motion is in order to deny any more time, remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Next docket, time extension housing, docket A 13224, 8511 Platten Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is a condemnation of the main structure that was issued on November 22nd, 2023. We originally heard this docket on May 8th of 2024. The applicant was granted until July 7th of 2024 to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, I do not see a Jonelle Abaddon in the participants panel, nor is that person present in room 514 today.
Okay, Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice that have been given to this appellant, the board can proceed with this hearing and ruling today. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, this property has permits with work ongoing and has been inspected within the last 2 weeks on multiple permits. We don't object to a February 20th extension, 2025, with no further extensions.
Okay, motion is in order to grant the extension to February 20th, 2025 with no further extensions. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Thanks, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Next docket is deficient lead housing docket A 129-24, 2825 Ludlow Road.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is deficiency lead. Issued on May 22nd of 2024. Appeal was received June 21st of 2024, requesting for 45 days to complete abatement of the violations. Present for today's hearing, Chief Building Official Tom Vanover, Dan Jacobson Law. Will the applicant or his or her attorney and or representative please state your name for the record? Mr. Chairman, I do not see Kevin Lovis in the participant panel, nor is that person present in room 514 this morning.
Hey, Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email, a voice message, or anything physically delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
Through the chair to Mr. Jacobson, no.
To the chairman, the due process requirement of notice have been given to this appellant. The board can proceed with this hearing and ruling. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, with no further information, we ask that you deny any more time and remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing.
Okay, a motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. So move. Okay, Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second, Mr. Dink.
Mr. Bradley?
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, I believe we covered all the dockets. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, approval of resolutions, A 3724, A 3824, A 3924, A 4124, A 4224, A 10424, A 10724, A 11424, A 11524, A 11624, A 11724, through A 12524. Motion? Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Approval of minutes for November 6, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Dang.
Mr. Bradley?
Yeah.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, is there anything else to come before us here?
No.
Okay, you know, it's one thing that I mentioned last time, and I wish they would do this, especially with those cases where we got, you know, we're sitting here going over the adjudication.
Mr.
cases.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yeah.
We're still recording live.
Yeah.
Is this something you want to talk?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and knock us off the line recording. I just want to mention this again, just to the board. And if Mr. Vanover stays on and the attorneys are fine, let me know when we get there.
All right, 1 second.